Hi, Andy here. I gave Sean the day off. I just wanted to get caught up on some of our 2018 camping trips before our 2019 camping trips start. Our 2019 camping trips hopefully are going to be filmed out in the field while we're at the campground. So I just wanted to go back and talk about some of the trips that we took last year. So if you're going to any of these campgrounds, it'll help you plan for them. So to start with, today I'm going to talk about the Luray KOA in Luray, Virginia. We went to Luray last April. We were there the first week of April. The Luray KOA, I spoke about it before because we went to the Hagerstown, Maryland for Easter, and then we drove down to the Luray KOA for the week. I originally didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go to this campground for the entire week because I thought my kids were 9 and 10 at that time. I thought they might get very bored. So we broke it up. We did the Jellystone and then we came here. It's about an hour. They're about an hour and a half apart from each other. So this is what our site looked like. That's our fifth wheel. And we were on site number 91. The campground is really, really nice. It's a great, we really just wanted to stay there so we could do our hiking, and weren't that concerned with the campground amenities, but it was absolutely wonderful place to come back to after a long day of hiking. We absolutely loved it. We had a red carpet site, I believe is what they call it, and so we had a nice, oh here, I'll show you. I'm going to try and add these on. I'm having computer issues, but hopefully I have a new computer coming. But here, let's see. So that was our site. So we had a nice fire ring. We had nice Adirondack chairs. It was very, very nice. So this was the view on the other side. There were cow farms. There was like cow, but we didn't really see the cows much. You definitely didn't smell them. And then, oh here, I'll just keep this up. So there's the dog. So we done by the dog park, and off past the dog park there were like sheep and there were little lambs since it was April, and I love going to the dog park and watching the sheep jump all over the place. So with the camp, like I said, the campground was absolutely beautiful, very well maintained. This is a map of what the campground looks like, or at least what it looked like when we were there. So we were up here, number 91. It's really nice. You pull in, you drive up, and you pull into your site. It's like a pull through, and then your campsite faces this big open field. The field was wonderful because the kids all had pickup games. They played catch and they played football and kickball, and the big field was absolutely beautiful. Like I said, because we were there in the off season, there weren't any activities going on, but the kids had no problem making their own activities. I know in the summer I believe they have pizza and maybe ice cream socials and other organized things, but when we were there, they were not. So we made our own fun. So being the site snob that I am, I had requested site number 91. This campground, they don't let you pick your site number, but you can request a site number. I requested 91 because I had watched a YouTube video. Somebody drove around with a golf cart, and I was like, that's the site I want. So it was great. The views from it were wonderful. It was like you could see the mountains in the background. It was great. But if you look at the map, 95 to 99 on this side, at the end of the day, the sun set, so we were here. So the sun set over here. So these sites had sun later in the day, and it got cold. And I was very jealous of the people sitting out in front of their sites in the sun, sunbathing. Now, if it was the summer and we were there, I would want to be on the opposite side. I'd want to be on these over here. All these over here had more trees and more shade than the ones over here. But like I said, 91 was absolutely beautiful. No complaints. I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. Here we go. Look. Oh, that's so pretty. So yeah, so I highly recommended site number. I would highly recommend site number 91. Parts of the things at the campground, there was a dog park. I said the dog park. I love that because we go see the little baby sheeps. So, all right, the reason that we were there was to go hiking. Now, this is Shenandoah National Park. I've got lots of papers here. Okay, so Shenandoah National Park. I had a nice, real big map. I don't know where I put it. So When you go to Shenandoah National Park, you're going to enter through, there's different entrances. If you're staying at the Luray KOA, you're probably going to go through the Thornton Gap entrance. So in the Thornton Gap entrance, you get a pass. Like we went in and we paid, and then you get this receipt. You have to hold on to this receipt to re-enter. So you pay $25 and it's good for, I forget how long, but maybe a week. So don't lose that. I may have misplaced it, didn't know where it was when we went back. So keep that. So I planned our hikes with the Shenandoah. I used this book. It has a list of quite a few of the hikes, the easy day trips. And again, like I said, we were traveling with, I had 2 dogs and 2 kids and my husband. And I didn't want anything too strenuous. And there are quite a few hikes in Shenandoah National Park that no dogs are allowed. I made a list. So there's Fox Hollow, Stony Man, Limberlost, Dark Hollow Falls, Story of the Forest, Bear Fence. So I asked the rangers why the dogs aren't allowed on those trails, and there's a combination. The combination is they keep some trails because for the people who are afraid of dogs and don't like dogs, for like Dark Hollow Falls, they don't allow dogs on that, even though dogs could easily do that hike. They just want to have a place for people just to go. Apparently it gets very crowded and some people just don't want to be around dogs. So they give a couple trails just to people. There's other ones such as the rock scrambles that are just too difficult for dogs and they'd have to do too many carryouts, so they're not allowed there. They're also not allowed because they said because of, you know, bears, rattlesnakes, and there's just some places that aren't really safe for the dogs. So it's a combination of reasons why dogs aren't allowed on these trails, but even though some of them said no dogs allowed, we did see dogs on them. So, but I don't know who, I think because we were there in the off season, they weren't really enforcing. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. Okay, going back, we did 3 hikes. Now, I had planned a lot of hikes, but the hikes we ended up doing, we did mostly because of the weather. It was very, very windy when we were there. There was a high wind advisory, and there's something that we learned. We stopped at Big Meadows. Well, I'll say on our first day, we just drove Skyline Drive. We just drove the whole thing to get our bearings, and I circled on the map where we wanted to stay, or where we wanted to have lunch, where there were bathrooms, you know, on our next day, so we could fit a couple hikes in. So it was absolutely a beautiful drive. But we did stop at Big Meadows, and we talked to a ranger there, and she gave us a ton, even though I had already researched all these things, she gave us all these maps, and she highlighted them, and she talked about them, and she gave us all recommendations, and she talked about the dogs in the park, and, you know, she gave us a ton of information. And so something she told us about, and I see this question get asked a lot, is the weather. She recommended, so what happened was some of the trails, because they're so high up, even though it might be 60 degrees at the campground, it might only be 30 degrees on this particular hike. So she said what the ranger told us was they use weather.gov, and I had it up here. Anyway, so this is what it looks like. If you go to weather.gov, so on weather.gov, you go up on the top and there's a forecast. And you have the little tiny fingers. So, where did you go? Okay, weather.gov, and you're on forecast up on the top, and then up here, and then you hit graphical, and a map will come up, and you can pin an exact location right on the map, and then it will tell you the wind, the temperature. So it might be 60 degrees at the campground, but on Mary's Rock it might be 45-mile-per-hour winds and 32 degrees. So it was very nice for us to be able to plan what we were going to wear, and it was really nice because they were high wind advisories. So like, should we go? Should we not go? So she had given us that recommendation of using that weather.gov because that's what they use, and that's what they use to put their warnings out on what trails are accessible for that day. And So that was really nice because I now use that. I was supposed to have a photo shoot last night of the Milky Way on the beach at like 3 in the morning. And it was like sustained 45-mile-per-hour wind. So we canceled that. So that app works really good with hiking. So when we stopped at Big Meadows, we got some maps, we got a couple of souvenirs, and we also got gas. So in case you happen to be, I think it was at Big Meadows, it was right by there. I didn't think there was going to be any gas on Skyline Drive. So I was like, well, we'll only make it this far. We have to turn around and go home. But we actually got gas, so it was pretty cool. So you can get gas on Skyline Drive. So we drove all Skyline Drive. We did stop at Big Meadows. We watched. They had the videos about Shenandoah and how it was built and who built it. And that was really educational, very cool. And then we went back on the road. And like I said, I had my map. I marked off where we wanted to have lunch and what we wanted to do. So the one place we did stop was the Blackrock Summit. Now all the hikes have this little book. And again, the maps are going to tell you where the hiking trail is. So Black Summit was at Skyline Drive, mile 84.8. So this little book told us where to park, how to access where the trailhead is, how long it is. This one is 1 mile, and the difficulty is easy, and the hiking time is 30 to 60 minutes. And it's not that the hiking is that long, it's that you want to go and stop and enjoy the views. So Blackrock Summit is awesome little hike. You walk out, instant gratification. You have beautiful, beautiful views. It was just absolutely gorgeous. It was extremely windy when we went, so if you happen to go there and you have really bad weather, this is a great little hike because you'll get great views and don't have to worry about about extreme winds. Another hike that we did was Dark Hollow Falls. Dark Hollow Falls, you get to walk down and you get to see a waterfall, which I really wanted to see. The problem with Dark Hollow Falls is the dogs aren't allowed. So unfortunately, we couldn't take the dogs with us on this hike, but it was a great hike. It was 1.4 miles. It says hiking time of 1.5 to 2 hours. So if it says 1.4 miles and it's going to take you 2 hours to do 1.4 miles, it means it's going to be a little strenuous. It says difficulty is challenging on return. So you hike to a certain point and then you go down, like, and you see the base of the waterfall. You can see the top of the waterfall, or you can go down and see the base of the waterfall. What's really nice about this hike, if you're going with family, you're going with kids, this is a great hike you can take and do all day. You can pack up a lunch, you can go a little bit of the ways. There's some rocks where the water comes over. You can take your shoes off, put your feet in the water, have a snack, relax, then go a little bit further, go to the base of the waterfall, stop for a while, relax. There was a guy he must have been a thru hiker. So he was there with this little canteen. He was making macaroni and cheese. He was using the water to cook his food. So, I mean, if you break it up, it's not difficult, but do expect it to be a challenge, especially on the way back. It is pretty uphill. So we did Dark Hollow Falls without the dogs, and then we did Mary's Rock South. There's Mary's Rock South and Mary's Rock North. Mary's Rock South we decided to do because I gave the option to the children if they wanted to do Mary's Rock South or Mary's Rock North. And Mary's Rock South says it's easier than Mary's Rock North, so they chose Mary's Rock South. So Mary's Rock South is actually kind of nice because you see some, like, there's a cabin that's old, like there's things on that hike that you're like, wow, that's how it used to be. Like, it was cool. There are artifacts, I guess you would say. So Mary's Rock, and then you get beautiful views. But one of the problems, like I said, when we were there when it was really windy, it was so cold on Mary's Rock. So I'm going to try and pick up this book and show you a couple pictures of some of the hikes that I just talked about, because I don't know if I can put the pictures in. I'm having such a heck of a time. I have a computer problem, so I'm having a hard time uploading my pictures onto I am having a hard time talking. I'm having a hard time uploading the pictures from my Windows, from my PC onto the Mac, because my external hard drive was not formatted for the Mac, so it thinks it doesn't like me. So here we go. Here's a couple pictures. So we got the Shenandoah. So there's the Thornton Gap entrance. Very important. You should always stop and get pictures of the fancy signs. So it's like story time. It's story time with Andy. Oh, that's Massey's Landing. That's next. Okay, we're not going there. We're going to go backwards. So this was the base of the waterfalls I just talked about on Dark Hollow Falls. So I brought my tripod and we stopped down there and we took some pictures. So the waterfalls are really pretty. And then this was on top of Mary's Rock here. Let's see if I can see. So Brady was taking selfies on Mary's Rock. It was so windy up there, and I tried setting up my tripod, and it just kept falling over. Let's see. So I don't know if I got in any of these pictures. No, it was super windy. I was trying to make Sean, who doesn't like heights, sit on top of the rock up here. And he was not having it. I'm like, hang over the edge. So that's a big fall. So let's see. So this is this was just part of Skyline Drive right here. Let me keep going. This is so much easier than inserting pictures. So, see, so we would just stop different parts of Skyline Drive and take pictures. It was so pretty. So yeah, so there's like these pull-ups here. And you can park and look at the views. And then this was the Blackrock summit here. So this was the rock scramble. So basically you don't have to scramble on the rocks. There are other hikes in this campground that you have to scramble over the rocks. There's a nice trail that goes around it, and then just for fun you get to climb on the rocks. So Brady was up here enjoying the views. And like I said, we were there, it was extremely windy, but we didn't have, but up on this, but the wind, how it was located or situated, this one back, we didn't have any problems with the wind. So that's a great hike on a windy day. Super simple too. I have some more pictures from that. And then that was the visitor center. So yeah, so I think I just blathered on about that. It's like 20 minutes. Okay, so we went, the other place we went to when we were there was, we went to the Luray Caverns, which is like the Disney World of caverns. Very commercialized, completely different feel than Shenandoah National Park. You walk in, you get in line, and you get your picture taken, and you go in, there's a huge gift shop. But what's nice about it is it's a nice organized walk. You get what they do is they take you in a group. There's a certain amount of people, and you have a tour guide. You walk a little bit, they tell you about the cavern. You walk a little bit, they tell you about the cavern. The caverns are gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So we went through, I didn't bring my camera. I don't know why. I just brought my cell phone. It was gorgeous. And I'm so glad for the tour because we knew about, they point out everything and you really learn a lot. But it was very like, I felt like I was in Disney World, like in lines and waiting and not like that natural feel at all. But regardless, it was awesome. It was great. But the great thing, like if you do go to Luray and you have some really bad weather and you can't go on a hike, that'd be a great thing to do because it's inside. So what else? So yeah, Luray KOA was totally awesome. Shenandoah National Park was absolutely awesome. We enjoyed Skyline Drive. We enjoyed just driving up and down. We enjoyed stopping. We had lunch. We enjoyed our hiking. We enjoyed meeting people. We didn't see any bears. We had reports that there were bears. There was a through hiker coming, and he said that he had just seen one, so he kind of diverted his path. But we didn't see any, unfortunately. The kids did not want to see any. I did. Like I said, the campground, beautiful, immaculately well kept, wonderful place, very relaxing, nice and quiet, but a lot of fun for the kids. They enjoyed that field. They enjoyed playing in that with all the other kids that were there. Such a nice environment. Looking forward to going back again sometime. Depending on the time of year, we'll decide where we stay in the campground, whether we want a lot of sun or the other side, or what's available. Because at this campground, you cannot pick your site, but you can request to be in a certain area, and they will do their best to try and accommodate, but it's not guaranteed. But like I said, all the sites here seem pretty awesome. There are some seasonals here, I believe, but it's just nice and well spread out. It really, really is a nice place to go. Looking forward to going again. We took 81 down and drove over the mountain to avoid Front Royal. That was a recommendation from the campground. So we took 81 down to 211 over the mountain. It was crazy. You better make sure you know that your truck can handle what you're towing to go through 211. It is a wild ride. There's some switchbacks. We were passing tractor trailers. I mean, you can go on it, but you better make sure you're not, maxing out your trailer and your tow vehicle. And we did it because they said the traffic in Front Royal can be really bad, but we went home through Front Royal and had no problems. But we also live in New Jersey and we have a ton of traffic where we live, so it didn't really faze us, the traffic that was in Front Royal. Maybe you want to avoid it later in the afternoon. I don't know. We had no problems. So we'll go through Front Royal again next time we go that way. We actually left a day early because there was snow in the forecast, and the idea of driving over that mountain with snow was pretty terrifying. So we took the traffic route and we had no problems. So that was it. So that was the Luray KOA and a little bit about Shenandoah. If there's anything else I think of, I'll add it below, or maybe I'll add it to the end. Hopefully, maybe I'll put in a couple videos. I'm going to try, but I don't know if my computer's going to let me. So, okay, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the Luray KOA.